What's up, y'all? My name is Ian Edwards, and welcome to the Soccer Comic Rant. Of course, we had a full day of Premier League football, so we got some shit to discuss. What the hell is Liverpool doing? They just gave up on their chance to win the title in 1 week. They're like, all right, we don't want to be in this race no more. We out. So we'll discuss that. We'll discuss Man City marching on, just doing their thing, doing what they do against a very difficult Forest side who's in a difficult position, who needed to get something out that game. So it wasn't easy, and it was also at Forest. We'll talk about Spurs versus Arsenal. That was a real game, dope as shit. And so Martin came over, and we watched that. And we'll talk about Man United's disappointing draw against Burnley at Old Trafford. We'll find out what that championship do. What Southampton is Southampton coming back? Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Lee's gonna tell us what the deal is. It's a big battle going down there in the championship between ex Premier League teams for that playoff spot. And I think there's something else, but we'll get to it. But we got a lot to do, so we'll just talk. I want to bring back, just big up my co-host, Lee Hudson, stand-up comic from England, Southampton fan. What's up, fam? How's it going?
I'm all good. Yeah, it's nice to be back. Been over that side in the US for a couple of weeks. It was a fun trip. Got to experience Austin for the first time.
Dope.
Got to go to Houston for the first time. Saw
That's dope too.
saw an NBA playoff game in Oklahoma City as well. So it was it was a
Damn.
fun trip. Lots of shows. Lots of new people to meet and lots of good food as well. It was a good time.
And there should be like video date naps where you could just say stuff like that, and girls are like, right, he lives. This is interesting. Let me talk to this guy. Right. Like they still have us writing down how interesting we are. I mean, they should just say some stuff. This is what I did last week. All right, but that's living. That's some rich living right there. Good for you. Not, and I'm not talking financially, just some good meat. Added some good meat to your living diet. So that's dope.
Mm. I
Uh
mean, financially, my credit card's hurting after the
no,
trip,
don't say
but
that. Don't say that. There might be girls watching. They might be interested in you. Now you just, oh god, or they might like that. Oh, you just wants to live. Fuck it, let's live then. Let's live now. Hilarious. But yeah, that's dope. I'm impressed, and I'm here. It's weird for you to be in America and us not to hang. That's how big this country is. It's like
yeah.
not. It's like you're in Austin. It's like you're in another country.
Yeah, it's a shame we couldn't coordinate it because you were there a couple of weeks before, weren't you? It was that Kill Tony episode looked crazy that you were on as well.
I think it might have been one of their craziest episodes. Yeah, but yeah, shout out to Tony. He's on the cover of Variety. He's killing it. And then check out last week's Kill Tony. I was on it. But yeah, so let's see what we should talk about first. So we talk about Arsenal versus Spurs.
I mean, yeah, probably is the
It's the biggest.
biggest game, I think.
It's the biggest game of the week. And
Yeah.
let me just go first. Arsenal has won their last two games, and it's been very impressive, especially the game before this. And then the way they started out this game, very impressive. And they absorbed a lot of pressure. And they're like, we're at Spurs. We ain't trying to go crazy. We could kind of Man City them and attack them at the same time. Like Spurs possession was off the charts. Like if it was any other team, you'd be like, Spurs dominated them. But one of the most important stats is scoring goals. And that's where Arsenal accelerated above Spurs throughout all their possession. And Spurs had some great chances in the first half. They hit the post, they came close on another corner, but it wasn't really nothing. That went in the net. But 30 minutes in, I think it was 3-0. Havertz living the high life, getting assists, scoring goals with his head. Like Saka is back to prime Saka, doing his thing, and Arteta got it right. But here's my theory. And then they had to hang on towards the end, which, you know, it's Spurs, it's a derby. The derby part of the derby is going to show up at some point. So, for the neutral, yeah, it was a great game. But for the last 20 minutes, it was the Saw movie for Arsenal fans. They were terrified. They couldn't wait. They never wanted to hear a whistle so bad. But Arsenal pretty much did their thing, and they looked great doing it. But here's my theory: is Arsenal comfortable and is going to win all their games now because they know they can't win the title? Are they winning now because after a week or so ago, when did they lose or drop points to somebody a few weeks ago?
They lost to Villa.
They lost to Villa. After the loss
Yeah.
to Villa, right? There was all this doom and gloom, especially amongst the fans. And they were like, the league is lost. Man City has an easier schedule. There's no way they're going to lose. They're all about their business this time of the year. So is Arsenal playing with the confidence of knowing that they can't win the league? Is the pressure off so their players on? And they're like, hey, if they can't say we choked, if we win all our games, you know what I'm saying? We won all our games. It's just that they won all their games towards the end. So, it's like we ain't choked. So is you feel like, is there any validity to that?
I think so. Because it was a horrible week for them. Because the Villa game was in between the two Bayern games, and obviously they drew one of those games and they lost the other one. So that put them out of the Champions League. And yeah, like a lot of Arsenal fans I knew were having a meltdown over that week. Their whole world caved in. They thought they'd lost everything. So yeah, I think that maybe did take a little bit of pressure off them. And they're still top of the league right now, but City have got that game in hand. So, it's technically in City's hands, not Arsenal's. So yeah, I definitely think that could have taken the shackles off a little bit and freed them up to just go out there and, like you say, just be like, oh, well, if we win all our games, we'll see what happens. They're technically, even though they're top, they're not technically being hunted down by City. City are in the driving seat rather than doing the chasing, despite being below them. But it's only a point and they got the game. So yeah, it's going to be interesting running. I mean, looking at Arsenal's games, they're home to Bournemouth in the next game. Bournemouth can be tricky, but you think Arsenal at home should take that. Then they're away to you guys, and who knows what's going to happen there.
No, they don't have to worry. You got that, Arsenal. After this, I don't know if you saw the Burnley game with us this weekend, but
oh yeah,
and just all our games. Arsenal, we ain't the person you're supposed to worry about. You're good.
You can show up. You can show up when you want to. And then they got Everton last game of the season, and I don't know what that's going to be like because Everton have done their job now.
Yeah, they're saved. So
yeah, I don't know if that will take some of the intensity that they play with out of their game because Dyche doesn't need to set them up to just defend. Mm-hmm. He could free them up a little bit. I don't know. He probably will still go there and defend though, because it's just in his nature. But yeah, it's an interesting last three games for Arsenal because they're not like walkovers, right, despite what you're saying about United.
Trust me, I've watched the United play all season, and man, bruh, just some more things about the Spurs Arsenal game. Like, I don't think the foul on Kulusevski was a penalty. I feel like it was on him to go down, and then it would have stopped Arsenal's first goal. If he went down, it would have been a penalty. He's definitely clipped. And I don't want to be, I always think if you could stay up, you should stay up. And he got the pass off to Maddison, and Maddison got tackled legitimately and then went down. So, there was probably nothing there anyway, no chance. of a goal. Like he's in the box, but he's dribbling away from the goal.
Mm.
He's been shepherded away from the goal, but the only way to get a penalty would be for him to go down, and he didn't go down. So I wouldn't blame the ref for that because I always say contact doesn't mean a foul, but
Yeah.
you at least got to go down to get the foul call. What do you think about on that play? Because everybody probably a lot of Spurs fans are like heated over that.
Yeah, yeah, and they showed the replay quite a few times on the TV here, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's one where yeah, some refs will give that just because they see the player go to ground, and some refs won't. So I think it's a kind of grey area. Personally, because it's Spurs, I wouldn't have given it. So,
Appreciate your
um,
honesty.
um, but yeah, I mean, I think most of the other calls were right as well. Like the penalty Spurs did get was a
Oh yeah,
penalty.
I mean, if you
Um,
don't give that penalty, like the the video stopped, just a photo of a player being kicked in his nuts from behind just says everything. You know what I mean? It might have
there's
been.
been
There should have been
times
like two penalties for that.
there's been times this season though where players have gone to like swing for a clearance and someone else has got in front of them and they've kicked them and the refs haven't given it. Um, so yeah, there's definitely instances where those haven't been, but yeah, the referee got that one right. And Van de Ven was, it was marginal, but he was offside
Yeah,
um,
damn.
on that goal. So yeah, I think there were some big calls, but I think only the most sort of biased Spurs fans, aka Martin, will think that there's some conspiracy against
All
them.
Spurs fans, all Spurs fans. I think Martin was just joking in the chat. Like
Yeah.
when he was here, he wasn't like that. You know, you know, like one of the most to be like I didn't see anything really from Son during the game except when he took the penalty. Like
Mm,
for Romero to be your most offensive player, like Romero must have had all the shots on goal, like
mm,
and even the one that scored. So Romero, like offensively, was a force, like hitting the bar, like even though he was eagle clawed standing on Gabriel's shoulders to get to that ball and dragging him down as he went up. So I don't know how legal that is. If that had actually went in, there might have been some questions on that one too.
mm,
And and then the goal that he did get, that was not an easy, even though he intercepted that pass or received the pass that was passed
mm.
directly to him by Raya generously. Like that was not an easy thing to slot in the net. As far as Van
Yeah.
de Ven is concerned, sorry, go ahead.
As I say, there was a couple of defenders closing him down quickly, and obviously the keeper's right there as
Mm-hmm.
well. So he had to pick his spot, and he did that pretty well.
Yeah, so he definitely deserves credit for that. As far as Van de Ven is concerned, like that goal, like his speed to be the first one, and by the time he took the first two steps, it was just him and the keeper. Everybody else, that's how fast he is. There was one of the last plays of the game was Arsenal was attempting a breakout, and I think it was Havertz trying to rush out the half. It was just him, and it was just going to be him and the keeper. And then Van de Ven just came out of nowhere and be like, bro, you don't got this. My name is Van de Ven. I'm here. I'm faster than everybody. Stop wasting your energy. This is going back up the other side. And Van de Ven intercepted it and passed it to the keeper. But you can't tell me that Van de Ven, like somebody should check his origin story. Like that speed is not normal. Like you can't tell me he ain't from Krypton or he ain't been bit by a radioactive spider. There's something up with this dude, and he might got bit by that spider after he got to Spurs. But there's no way this guy was sitting around in the German league and no Bayern Munich didn't spot him. Like
Yeah.
this guy is fucking incredible.
Yeah, and pace is really valuable for a defender as well. Like people don't always see it as or don't consider it when they're considering the attributes of a defender, but it's so crucial. Like given how quick attackers are in the game now, you need defenders that can move as well
Mhm.
because the slow ones will get caught out at times. Some people can mask it with they read the game well or the positioning is really good, but Yeah, if you've got a defender that, especially a centre half that has
Mm.
raw speed, like that's so useful to have in the team.
He's the Spurs' entire back line. He's their entire high line. Like, why do you think Romero was the leading shot taker in this game? His defensive partner. Because Vanderbilt back there. Let me go up here and try to head this ball in. How the hell was Romero pressing on a he's that far up the pitch to cause a turnover for his goal because he's like Vandervin's back there. He's got this whole back line sewed up, so I don't have to. I can play Harry Kane and press. You know.
It's just a shame none of that helps him defend corners.
Yeah, yeah. So this is a question I wanted to ask you. Say you're Xhaka, right? And you play for Bayern Leverkusen, and you won the Bundesliga, and last year you played for Arsenal. If Arsenal was to buy some wild chance now, because it's still possible, if they were to win the Prem, if you're Xhaka, who would you have rather have won it with? Because you kind of knew before you left that Arsenal had a chance to win it, but then you won it in the German league, which is not considered to be as good as the Premier League, but you won it with a team that so far, I didn't check this weekend, you won it with the Invincibles of Germany, who beat out a Bayern Munich team that has won it like 11 times in a row. Like, which Premier League title or which league title is more valuable if you're Xhaka?
It's a good question. Personally, I think the Leverkusen won, but only slightly, because I think if Arsenal do win the league, it's a massive achievement.
Right.
Um, but as a club with their history, their stature, they have been there before. Whereas, this Leverkusen team. So the game this weekend, they drew 2-2 with Stuttgart, who were third in the league, but they were losing and they equalised in like the 96th minute or something crazy, to retain the unbeaten record, which is nuts.
I saw the Dortmund game last week because I'm checking out Sancho, and that went down to the wire, and they lost a man, and they still managed to not lose that game and score in the last minute. Yeah.
So I just think that tips it slightly. The fact that they're an unbeaten team, the fact that they, that it's not usual for them. There's been previous years where they've been up near the top of the table, but they've never done this.
Right.
So yeah, I'd give it the edge slightly to what he's helped Leverkusen achieve.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. Let me see if I do have another. Do I have another crazy, not crazy question, but I'll ask you that question when I get to. All right, so the other shocking, I guess the next game is the Liverpool versus West Ham because of the weight of it and the result of it. And I'm a Man U fan, but I wanted Liverpool to win the titles because United ain't gonna win it, and I'm looking at the lesser of all evils. Even though most Man U fans will feel like it's the worst thing that could happen is that Liverpool win the title and be even to us, or come closer to being even with our amount of titles. But I know, being a soccer fan from afar and not being in England, I look at it completely different. And I guess I'm more in love with the fairy tale of Klopp winning the Premier League and riding off into the sunset. So I'm looking at like the guy himself who I knew about when he was coaching at Dortmund and going up against the Giants in the German League. I just always liked him as a person. So that's why. And then why would I want Man City to win 5 in a row? Like, I'm damned if I do anyway. But now, after this weekend versus West Ham, where they tied 2-2, and then they lost the derby, the Merseyside derby midweek to Everton. Hats off to Everton. You won 3 in a row. Like, that's huge coming down the stretch of the season. Sean Dyche, you had points taken away. You're not even a relegation team. Last 2 years, you were a relegation team and you had no points taken off. You had your points taken off, and with the 4 or 3 games left, you're not a relegation team. Like, so, man, dope job, man. Like, I'm impressed. I'm 100% impressed. But what the hell happened to Liverpool? Your thoughts on, you know?
I mean, Klopp tried to really shake it up with a lineup as well. Obviously, he seemed pretty pissed after the midweek loss to Everton, so he's changed the team up. He dropped Salah, he dropped
Mhm.
Nunez. So he shook it up a bit, and just something seems to be off there. I don't know if like the players have ran out of steam, if he's run out of steam. Um, because this was meant to be, like you say, this was meant to be the big farewell finale, where even if they don't necessarily win the league, they at least take it all the way to the wire, and fight for it. But they just haven't had that fight. The loss to Everton, Everton were impressive, but also Liverpool were just a bit flat. They didn't have that magic about them that they have had at times under Klopp. And then
Mhm.
the West Ham game, I mean, they did some good things. Um, but like even the goals were a little bit scrappy. Like Robertson's goal was a good finish, but then Gakpo's one where he just shanked it across the goal and then it hit like 3 different players before it went in off of Areola.
He meant that. He meant that.
But like Jared Bowen was tormenting them. He got on a
Yeah.
goal and an assist, but he could have had more as well. He was
Mhm.
pressing, he was hounding people. Um, so yeah, they just and this West Ham team haven't looked good recently either. They've been getting some poundings, and Moyes has been um, getting the fans have taken that opportunity to jump on him and criticize him, and
Mhm.
he's had to deal with obviously rumors of West Ham talking to other managers this week.
Mhm.
Um, well, I think it's not even rumors. I think it's confirmed they spoke to Amorim from Sporting Lisbon because it seems like
Yeah, I
Liverpool
heard
are
he
going to
was in
get
town.
yeah, because Liverpool are going to get Arne Slot from
Right.
Feyenoord now, so they're getting their very own Ten Hag, their own bald Dutchman. See if he can do the same thing with them. Uh,
Oh boy.
um, so yeah, I don't know what's going on there. It's a sad way for Klopp to
Yeah.
end his time there. Just sort of the whole thing just fizzling out.
Right.
Not even a Europa League run.
Right.
They got dumped
No
out of
FA
that by
Cup.
Atalanta. No FA Cup. He's going to just walk away with a Carabao Cup, which
Ugh.
it barely counts for a club of that level anyway.
Right.
If a mid-table team win a Carabao Cup, it's something. But when you're one of the big clubs, then it means or should mean very little. Um, it's a final nonetheless. But yeah, it's a shame it has to end like that. But that's football. Football doesn't care about your sentiments. Football will, you got to earn it. Football's brutal.
It's cold blooded. And
Mm,
the fact that it's ending like this lets me know he was right to say I'm out. Like
mm,
he was like what he said in the press conference when he said he was bouncing is like, I'm too tired. I don't have the energy to give to this. It looks like it. You know what I mean? Because
yeah,
Klopp would have done something with this deck of cards to make a win, and he didn't. And
yeah,
I know he had the little blow up with Salah on the
mm,
sidelines,
yeah.
but then the news reported that Salah was like, I can't say anything because there will be fire. But then when you see the actual clip of Salah saying it, he's just walking by some foreign press people, and they tried to get a word with
Straight
him
off the game. Yeah.
straight at. But it was said so jokingly by Salah compared to what it
Mm,
was, the way it was reported. It was
yeah.
reported like, oh shit, but it's really reported like, there ain't nothing going on. It's just, this happens all the time, but you
Yeah.
just saw it and we're cool, you know?
Mm.
So,
It's interesting you talk about Klopp's leaving statement when he announced it is leaving because I remember we cut or you translated the Xavi leaving statement at Barcelona because he sounded like he was done, that he was completely exhausted by everything that had happened there, and then he did the U-turn this week.
well, Xavi should still leave. And he meant what he said because he
Yeah.
was he was dating a narcissist. Barcelona fans, the ones that that are ungrateful and made him want to quit, are
Mm.
narcissists. And when you threaten to leave a narcissist, they will act right to make you change your mind. But Xavi, there's a reason why you wanted to leave. And once you said you want to leave, and then they looked for other coaches, and there's none available. And they're like, shit, this guy did win us the league. We should shut the fuck up and act right. And then they begged him back, and he's like, all right, you've been good to me lately. And I did lose some games, and I'm out the Champions League, and you still want me back. So maybe you, no, not Xavi. These the same people. They were the people they were when you played. They were the people you were when you won the league, and they were ungrateful. And you still had a chance to win the Champions League and the league, and they the same people, fam. So I'm. I, let's see how long he stays. Let's see. Like you, it's typical Hollywood. You have to turn down a deal to get more money. You have to say no, and that's what he did to get some
Yeah.
respect. But that, bro, next season, good luck. He has a promising team, so I see why you'd want
Yeah.
to stay.
I kind of feel like he wants to lead them back into the new Camp Nou as well when that's done, because they're playing at the old Olympic Stadium right now,
Mm-hmm.
until the renovations are finished, because it's going to be a completely different looking place when it's done. I'm not sure. I don't think it'll be ready for next season. It might even be the season after. So we'll see if he can survive one more season next season without all the drama. But it's Barcelona, so the drama's never far.
It's never far, and then they don't have any money, and then,
Mm.
bruh, like when you justifiably want to quit the next time, now you're gonna look like you're wishy-washy. You know what I mean? You're gonna look flimsy.
Mm.
So you should have just left, bro. That's my advice. But you're not taking it. You ain't returning none of my calls. You didn't. You left me on red. So fine, do what you do, fam. Good luck, Shabby. Still love you. Uh, let's see what else. Some of these. So we might as well move on to man handling their business city, and they played Newcastle. Nah, my bad. Not Newcastle. Nottingham Forest. At Forest, it's a tough place to play,
Mm.
especially when they don't water their grass, so that you could take advantage. Did you hear about the grass thing?
Yeah.
Do you believe they didn't water it, or I guess you could see if they water it because the water's normally on before the game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it definitely did happen. I heard about it, but I mean, Forest play quite quick on the break, so
Mm-hmm.
I can imagine they probably would want a bit of zip on the pitch
Yeah.
themselves, because they like to get their wingers down the sides of people, Elanga and Hudson Odoi,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I mean, and they did do that as well. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't know what the truth is to that, but yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they tried to pull out the dirty tricks. Teams that are down that end of the table will do those
Do
things.
everything.
Yeah.
Do everything. Uh, I saw this game, but I also saw the pregame too, and I like the way Nuno set this team up. And I
Mm.
was like, he's like Nika Williams, William Barley, Murillo. I think that's Nika and Enya, who's fast as shit. He. We need to check his origin story. He got some superhero mutant shit going on too, because he blew by Kyle Walker in this game. Kyle Walker
Mm.
caught him back, but it's because Enya had to slow down because he ran into some traffic. But it was like, yeah, he we need to check what's going on with it, what he's drinking. But then so he set up a 5-4-1-1, a 5-4-1. And so then,
Mm.
like you said, Hudson Odoi on the wings, Elanga. Then he had uh, Gibson, Gibson White. What was his name? Gibson White.
Gibbs White. Just
Gibbs
Gibbs White.
White.
Yeah, Morgan Gibbs
Morgan
White.
Gibbs White played extra dope CDM slash. He was like a 6'10" in this game. Like, but yeah, he's if Nottingham Forest can't stay in this league, he deserves to stay in this league, and
Yeah.
so does Enya. And yeah, but the way they set it up, very defensive, but also they had most of the attack going. It's from the
Mm.
opening of the game, they had most of the attack, and Nico Williams shanked kind of a shot and still got a shot off later on. But I, I really like how they set up and their plans didn't go through to win or just get something out of this game. But it was a dope setup. Uh,
Mm.
when you're supposed to win a title, certain things will happen, and this is why I think Man City's going to win the title because they were under siege a little bit, because Forest was doing a lot of countering, and but when Nico Williams got injured and they were down to 10 men for that brief corner, the brief moment of a corner, that's when City scored, and just that's what they needed to break them down. It was like so it was
Mm.
there was two injury moments that played into City's benefits for City to get their goals. It was on the 10-man corner, and also when Murillo, who had been brilliant all game, like was hurt, but he had to defend a fucking fresh off the bench, healthy Haaland coming at him after the Brun pass, and
Mm.
the defender's already been begging for 5 minutes to be taken off the pitch and substituted out, and and that's the conditions that Man City like victimized Forest, which leads me to believe like those moments reminded me of that that season where they passed Liverpool when uh what's the coach of Burnley?
Company.
Vincent Company scored that fucking goal out of no.
Mm.
He'd been injured for most of the season and came on the field and scored that roofer. And
Yeah, from like
and I
30
was like,
yards out.
and from 30 years out, and they were like, yeah, they're gonna win this. There's no way after this game. There's 3 games left, but this is
Mm.
City's title. So unless something crazy happens in favor of Arsenal next week, for now, I feel like it's safe to say this is City's title. What do you think of this game?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Like Forest set up so well. They were getting those fast breaks. They were causing all sorts of problems for City on the corners as well. They were delivering them corners like on Edison in the first half,
uh-huh.
to the point where it was causing him so many problems. And I think that's how he got injured, maybe, um, in those melees that were happening underneath the crossbar where they were putting those corners. So yeah, I mean, yeah, credit to Forest because I think there's no game plan you can put up against Man City that will stop them from having chances completely. Like they're going to have chances. You just need to hope that they miss them, or your keeper has a great game, or your defenders have a great game, and luck goes your way because they will have those chances. And obviously, City took one chance in that first half off the corner, which there was a bit of element of fortune too, like you say, with the down to 10 men, and then yeah, I mean, Forest had the chances. They could have gone in at halftime 2-1 up, easy. Like Chris Wood, like swing and
Oh
a
man,
miss
that's
in the
when you
middle of the
know.
box. Yeah.
That's when you know.
And the chances they had off the corners as well. So yeah, they could have they if they'd have taken some of them chances, this could have been a really tricky game. I mean, it was a tricky game for City, but it could have been a tricky result. Like you say, being able to throw Haaland off the bench is a real luxury. To just put the cat amongst the pigeons for those.
Hey man, we're gonna sub you out.
Um,
We're gonna sub you in for this World Cup winner, Alvarez. We're gonna bring in Haaland. Sorry.
they brought him on for Grealish, I think.
Oh yeah, for
Alvarez,
Grealish. Yeah,
Alvarez was still on the field,
yeah,
and obviously they didn't even have Foden today. I
yeah.
think he was sick or something. So they went with Doku and Grealish and Bernardo Silva from the
Mm-hmm.
start, and obviously De Bruyne and Rodri in the middle as well. But it was yeah, just like you say, one of those performances that looks like a title-winning result where they grind it out, they make it happen,
Mm-hmm.
um, and they get that win. So let's have a look at their because they've got 4 games remaining because they got that extra one, and
Right.
obviously they're hurting after being dumped out of the Champions League as well. So it's
Yeah.
just sole focus for them.
Yeah.
Obviously they got the FA Cup final, but that'll be after the games are all done in the league.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they got Wolves at home. I like Wolves, but City at home that should be a win. Fulham away. Fulham have been good this season, but they've kind of like tailed off.
Right. And they're
And then they
they're
got
they're Jekyll and Hyde-ish. Like
yeah,
they'll have a great game and then they'll have a bad one.
yeah. And then they got Tottenham away on a midweeker, I think that is the 14th.
So this is the
Um,
question I want to ask you about that. So this is a question I want to ask you about that. And this is not just for you, any Tottenham fans listening. Say you're a
yeah.
Tottenham fan, right? Now, Martin didn't say one thing. Let you
I
let
know where
that
this is
sit with
going.
you for a
I know where this
second.
is going.
You know this is going on good. You're a Tottenham fan. You're a Tottenham fan. And if you win your games, you get into Champions League. But if you win all your games, then you beat City and Arsenal wins the title. What do you want more? To get to Champions League or throw the game against City so that City can win the league and not Arsenal? Like, what do Spurs fans really want the most? To hurt Arsenal or to get a Champions League spot? What would you do? Or what would you
I
want?
mean,
Just speak, just channel a Spurs fan. Because
oh,
some certain things are
that feels
different.
dirty.
Different. That's why I'm asking
um,
you to do it and not me.
yeah, I mean, personally, I would want to win the game and get the Champions League spot
Mm.
because getting in the Champions League affects the future. It doesn't just affect this season; it affects the future. It affects the type of players you can bring in. It affects your money because Daniel Levy's been trying to get extra investment this year because a lot of Spurs' money is tied up in paying off the stadium. Um, so they can't spend huge amounts in the transfer windows unless they get that investment. So yeah, the extra funds from Champions League, I think it sets the club up for a better future. It means they can, like I say, they can attract better players, more ambitious players if they got that Champions League spot. And I think they'd be able to forget about Arsenal winning the league fairly quickly.
But Arsenal's not
Um,
gonna let them forget. Arsenal's gonna keep telling them that
yeah,
shit
but
all year long.
it's the Spurs and Arsenal. Spurs fans should be used to seeing their team win nothing and Arsenal win things because that's how it's been for a whole number of years. I mean, Arsenal
Uh-huh.
they haven't won the league in a little while, but they've won other stuff. They've won FA Cups and things, while Spurs have been winning nothing. And obviously they had their dominant spell earlier in the 2000s where they were winning the league a bunch. So yeah, most Spurs fans have lived through Arsenal winning stuff. They'll be okay. But I think it's more important for them, or it should be more important for them that they finish top four um, in order to set themselves up for a better future than playing Europa League football again.
All right. Just checking, just curious. And just since we brought Spurs back up, one thing I did want to say about the Spurs game. Can I remember this thing? Shit, I can't remember it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Oh, I know we're just gonna talk. And it was something that you mentioned from a few games back. Remember when Spurs were flying and we was complimenting Vicario? Is that the name of their goalkeeper?
Yeah,
But then there was this game where he was affected by on corners by the way they put a man on him.
I think it was
And
Everton away.
yeah, like like they really like disrupted his whole flow. And I think Everton won that game or
Yeah,
made them drop points. But you pointed out in your analysis afterwards, all you gotta do is put a man on him, and that's exactly what Arsenal did. Like Ben White was his nightmare today on corners, and definitely affected him, and that's how you know you know Arsenal scored today just on two corners, just even though one was an own goal. It's just Ben White being a pain in the ass to Vicario. So that's definitely a way to get to him. Uh, let's go to United. And just one thing about Nottingham Forest, could you find out who they have to play next? Just because this game was
yeah.
important for them. This game was important for them because they're right above the relegation zone, so they want to get some points and just keep some distance or Heisman the other teams away from them. So I think they're all on the same points. They're all on the same amount of games.
Yeah. Well, they've all got 1 point between them. So in the league, you got because Sheffield United are done this weekend, confirmed that they are
Correct.
done. Burnley are 19th on 24 points. Luton are 18th on 25 points, and Forest are 17th, safe at the moment, on 26 points. So there's only 2 points between Forest and Burnley, with Luton sandwiched in between. Brentford ahead of them are 9 points clear, 3 games left. So effectively, they're safe.
Right.
So it's two from these three are going to go down, and Forest, they got Sheffield United next. Who knows what's going to happen there? Sheffield United will play with the freedom of a team who's, they've already got the death sentence, so
Right.
that might free them up a little bit. And they played well against Newcastle in the first half. They should have been winning that game. They should have been 3-1 up, and then they lost 5-1,
Right.
which was crazy. And then Forest have got Chelsea second to last game of the season, which at home with that atmosphere, with Forest, countering, they could get something maybe.
Because you
Last
don't know
game
what
of the
type of
season,
Chelsea they're gonna get.
yeah, exactly. And then last game of the season, Burnley
Direct rival. So
could
that
be a
could be the game
relegation
that decides
playoff.
it for right. That could be the biggest, the most, how they say the championship playoff final is like the most expensive game in football. This is another version of that. Yeah. And Burnley's right. What's Burnley's schedule?
Burnley's schedule is, and they got Newcastle and Tottenham before they play Forest.
Oh yeah, they're done. They're done.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
yeah. I
done.
think Forest could be okay by that game, because Luton schedule in between. Luton schedule is a bit mixed. They've got Everton, West Ham, and Fulham, which two of those games are at home as well, where Luton aren't. Luton are a bit stronger at home than they are on the road. So yeah,
How
I
many
think
points are
if I
Luton
think
behind Forest?
one.
Just one.
Yeah, so I think if anyone's going to challenge Forest, it'll be Luton rather than Burnley.
Right.
But Burnley, to go back to this weekend, they grinded, they stayed in the game as long as they could, and then they got the gift.
Yeah, let's just go to that. I mean, see the shift in energies. I can't even hide. So yeah, I have this question written down. So I rewatched the highlights. I watched the game, but I watched the highlights. And the first 20 minutes of the game, we was like, all right, Burnley, we got the first 20 minutes. Let us take our chances. We're gonna put this thing on you and see if we can get a goal out of it. And we looked amazing. And you United played the way you'd want them to play. And everything that Ten Hag is bragging about in press conferences was happening on the pitch. And then for the next 20 minutes, like Burnley took over. It's like they said, hey, we had an agreement. We give you the first 20 minutes. Next 20 minutes is ours. So then Burnley assaulted us, took their turn assaulting us and creating chances and peppering our keeper, forcing on an honor to make great saves and just making us melt and disappear on our own pitch. And like what the fuck? Like, how could the team that just played so well in that first 20 minutes, like where did they go? Like they were just there. And I understand it's football and teams takes turns sometimes because there's other human beings with capabilities on the other side. But United has just been doing that too much. And then the beginning of the second half, we put it back on them again. We created a lot of chances. And then they had a few. And then towards the end of the game, like we had most of the chances. One thing that was pissing me off, and it's one of the beloved sons of United that was creating this problem, was Holland. The way he wants to press all the time. Don't press when the goalkeeper has the ball and he comes out the goal and he joins the back four of the opposition team. You're not going to get it. Now you're outnumbered. And then when he rushes to the keeper and the keeper passes it past him to one of his own players, then our middle is open because everybody rushed. And then that's when we get passed through, and that's when they got like chances. Like if you look at the highlights for United and Burnley, like most of their chances came when Holland was on the field because he would just press the keeper who was out the goal with the ball and making the extra man in the back for Burnley. And it's like you just pulled us apart defensively. Like just let's play a mid block. Just chill. Just let them have that shit. They just have it in their end. They ain't gonna do nothing. You know. But then again, we did create a turnover when Anthony intercepted and when Ahmad was on the pitch because Ahmad didn't press; he just stayed in a space, and then there were two Burnley players standing next to each other, so the keeper had to pass to the one that he thought he could get it to, and then Anthony rushed in, stole the ball. He did everything, stole the ball, ran to the goal with a player draped on his back, fell, shot, corner pocket, beat the keeper. First goal of the PL season for a man that cost 90 mil. It's crazy. so yeah, he scored a goal, which was supposed to be a winner, but it's his first Premier League goal of the season. Not at home and away for a 90 million player. So that has to be fixed somehow. And then, all right, we got the lead. We don't keep the lead. Casemiro, as a defender, was great, but as a defender with the ball, passing the ball out the back, was terrible all game. Like he would win the ball, block a shot, have the ball, and pass it back to Burnley the entire game, and then would have to like block it all over again. In this game, he tried to head the ball back to Wan-Bissaka. When in doubt, man, just out. You're Casemiro. I shouldn't have to tell you that. You got titles after titles after titles. Like, you don't try to head that ball back into a crowd of players where some of them ain't yours towards. You just fuck that out. And Wan-Bissaka saved it, headed it out, but Wan-Bissaka, I mean, our keeper cleared out that player. And to me personally, the ball had already been won, so I wouldn't have gave that penalty. And I'm not just looking at this with red tinted glass. It's like you would, like if you were about to get that ball, fine. But Wan-Bissaka already won it, but they gave the pen, fine. They scored, they equalized. Then we created some chances after. But my question is not even about the game. There's so many things going on with United. No coach has had to deal with what Ten Hag has had to deal with. Just joining a team at the top of the football pyramid in 2 years. A team that's like up for sale. You don't know who's coming or going. There's been changes with the injuries. You're new to the place. It's just outside the turmoil of how the fans feel about the team. And so, but he's made mistakes. Anthony's kind of one of them, but he's made other mistakes. So I would keep him as a coach. But somebody today or this weekend like stood on a heating grate like Marilyn Monroe and showed a coach stood on a New York City heating grate and let the wind blow up his skirt and showed Man United's board his legs, Thomas Tuchel, to flirt and say he's available. So what would you do? Like, I wouldn't fire Ten Hag, but there are certain people I would replace him with. So let me ask you a question. Tuchel or Ten Hag?
If it was a choice of, my club had nobody and there was the choice of both of them to pick, then I'll take Tuchel. I just think he's more proven. in terms of the things he's won, managed in multiple different countries as well. I just think he's got a bit more about him. He's a bit more refined tactically as well than Ten Hag. I think he has a clearer idea of what he wants to do and what he wants his players to do. But that being said, Ten Hag he's in the seat at the moment. Like you say, he's had a lot to contend with. He won you a trophy when things were slightly more stable last year, which still wasn't even that stable. So I think he's got you to another cup final this year. I think he's earned the right to have another crack at it next season with hopefully a clean injury slate. But we'll see what happens. He's definitely made mistakes in his time there as well. Maybe he was given too much influence on transfers. I don't know, under the current setup where you've got Jason Wilcox coming in from us to be a director or technical director or head of recruitment, whatever he is, and then Ashworth coming in from Newcastle to be the director of football. Would that structure have allowed Anthony to be signed for 90 million? Because you only signed him because Ten Hag wanted him from his old club. That was,
plus the fans would have been upset. Now they're not. Now they wouldn't be. But if we didn't get Anthony and Anthony did great and stayed where he was, we'd have been like, that could have been us. The board didn't support the new man. It would have been a whole Glazers thing again, But the board gave the fans what they wanted. And I wanted Gakpo because stats-wise from the same league, Gakpo was better. But go ahead.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. I mean, I personally could see Ten Hag being given another season, and if it doesn't work out, I think that's when, because they're known to be fans of him, the Ineos guys, that's when they'll go for Southgate after his England job is done, after the Euros, because obviously he won't go anywhere right now, and I think he'll take a bit of time off after he's finished with England. So that's I reckon it's going to happen. I wouldn't want him if I was a United fan.
It's not happening. I'm not even worried about that. I don't know if you're fucking with me or not, but I'm not even worried about that happening. There's no way.
The Ineos guys are noted big fans of Southgate's.
They're probably big fans of a lot of people.
He'll be a free agent as well, so who knows? They get to be seen as being patient, giving Ten Hag some time, and if he slips up next season, then that's the man who's waiting. If you had a choice, so you gave me the Ten Hag and Tuchel choice. Let me give you a choice: Southgate,
nope,
or Potter.
I'll take Potter
because that's apparently who else they like.
I take. But we have Ten Hag, so I'll stay with Ten Hag. See, this is the thing. I'm thinking like an LA girl right now. I'm thinking like I got a man, but I will upgrade if I'm dating somebody on the Clippers, but somebody from the Lakers hollers at me, I might be, and he's down to treat me right. I'm out, Clipper guy. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm thinking, I'm not a Ten Hag out person, but I am polyamorous and promiscuous. And if somebody that looks better, has a better res than Ten Hag, why not upgrade? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but if they keep him, I won't be upset. I know that in football or just in life, there's more than one choice. It's not like it's this choice or a bad choice. Or it's just one good choice. There's a bunch of good choices, and sometimes it just takes time for each choice to work out to be good. So I'm down to play the patient game, but I'm also down to play the impatient game. You know what I mean? So I'll take Ten Hag, but if they get somebody, but I feel like we're gonna keep him just financially. To get Ashworth out of his contract, we had to pay to get your guy out of contract with you, and to get rid of Ten Hag, that's another 20-something mil. It's like, give him a chance. Give him a chance. So I understand if they don't make any moves. I get it. What that championship do, fam?
It's been horrible for Southampton. Quite frankly, we've not been playing well. The results haven't been good.
Shit.
Yeah, we've lost our last three at least, maybe more. We played Stoke yesterday. We lost 1-0. Terrible performance. We played Leicester on Tuesday. Lost 5-0. Terrible
Five.
performance.
Who to
Yeah,
who?
Leicester, who are confirmed as being up
Is
now.
that when they got confirmed after they
Nah, they got
assaulted
confirmed.
y'all?
They got confirmed after Leeds lost to QPR on Friday, because that put them up. So Leicester coming back, maybe with a points deduction. I'm not sure yet, because they've had some financial irregularities. But we
I
played
think they're
Cardiff.
definitely getting deducted.
Yeah,
Why, how
we
could
played
they
Cardiff.
escape it?
They're appealing some stuff. Apparently, the time period that they're trying to charge them for was before they saying is before when the rules were agreed. So they're
Nah,
trying to
Lester.
weedle they're trying to
Nah,
weasel their way
that's
out of it.
you violated it within the time that the rules were those rules. It's
Yeah.
nah.
Well, I wanted them to get points deducted this season. That would have made more sense. um,
It benefited you, yeah.
yeah, but no, we lost to them. We lost to Cardiff the week before when we were winning, and then we lost 2-1. Um, so yeah,
What
we've
the
just been
fuck
bad.
happened?
We've had a couple of key players get injured as well. The goalkeeper's got injured. Stuart Armstrong's got injured. Um,
Damn.
and yeah, I mean, we got one more game left in the league, which is away to Leeds, who are
Mm-hmm.
still fighting for that last promotion spot with Ipswich. It's down to Ipswich and Leeds for the other spot.
Are you
Um,
definitely in the promotion area?
oh, we're going to finish fourth now.
So you are okay. So you're in the playoffs.
Yeah, we're in the
Oh,
playoffs.
at least you solidified that.
Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
we've got that. So we're going to be in the playoffs, but also in the playoffs is going to be either Leeds or Leicester, whichever one doesn't. Oh, sorry, Ipswich or Leeds, whichever one doesn't make it
Mm-hmm.
into the top two with Leicester. So they'll be in there. And then I think it's looking like the other two teams in there are going to be West Brom and Norwich. But neither of them won this weekend. West Brom are in terrible form. They just had enough good form earlier in the season to get in there. So
Mm-hmm.
I can't call what will happen in the playoffs. I hate the playoffs. I've only got bad memories of the playoffs. We were in there years ago and we ended up getting beaten on penalties by Derby in the
Mm-hmm.
semi-finals. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. It would be amazing if we can do it because it's a great way to go up if you can go up that way,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also a horrible way to not go up.
Yeah.
um, so yeah, it'll be an all or nothing kind of thing. We'll see if we can pick up our form because that's the worst thing as well. Just going into it with no confidence and poor form from these losses, and
Mm-hmm.
then we got Leeds away on the final day. So if we play badly there, we're going to be rock bottom confidence wise. Which yeah,
Who
we'll
are the
see if
two
the
teams
manager.
above you?
Three teams above us, which is Leeds,
No, no,
Leicester,
yeah, I know
and
Leicester
Ipswich.
is. So it's Leicester. I know Leicester is, but it's Leeds
Yeah,
and Ipswich. Oh,
Leeds and Ipswich as well. Yeah, one of them will go up, and one of them will be in the playoffs with us.
right.
So yeah, it's I can't call what will happen. I'd love it if we could do it, but I'm these losses have really kicked my confidence. I'm not feeling good about it at all. So we'll see what happens. But I mean, the manager's really got to earn his money to try and pick these players up now and get them playing again because some of these games as well, like we've been so dominant, but then just as soon as we lose the ball, we concede. And we concede off of very little chances as well. Like we've conceded like in terms of the goals conceded, we're like the 17th worst team in the league out of 24. But in terms of like XG against, we're fourth.
Oh shit.
So we don't concede many chances, but when we do, they go in. Um, which is yeah, not ideal.
Mm.
I don't know whether that means we have so much of the ball that when we do like have a chance on the opposition, we're just not used to defending.
Mm-hmm.
So no one does. I don't know what's going on with it. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But it could potentially be a whole playoff of teams who have been in the Premier League within the last few years. So
Yeah, that's what it
um,
sounds like.
yeah, it'll be a real fight. I'm not
Right.
sure which way it'll go. So I'm just just close my eyes and hope for the best.
Yeah, it sounds like a bunch of teams with parachute money going at it
Hmm.
to get back into the Premier League. Yeah, good luck, man. I'm rooting
We're gonna need
Southampton
it.
to pull up. I was just gonna go to fantasy league and then we could get out of here, but I realized I said let me check because there is Champions League this week, which was why PSG at the weekend lost to a team that I never even knew existed. Like you hear about most teams, even if you don't know their history, but
Yeah.
because they didn't start Mbappe again, and they put him on, and if they'd have won, they'd have won the league, and it was at home, but they didn't start like Mbappe because, and then I saw him later on in the game, so I was like, all right, so yeah, so PSG versus Dortmund, who you got?
Hmm. I think PSG.
Yeah, it's at Dortmund.
Um, yeah, I still think PSG.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tough one to call. I think they'll be. I mean, Dortmund showed um, that they're not to be taken lightly with that turnaround against Atletico Madrid, because that was impressive to beat them, which didn't see coming. Um, so yeah, but I think PSG have just got a little bit more firepower.
All right. I think this game is interesting because for Dembele to make it to the Champions League final, he's got to go through his old teams.
Yeah.
This is an old team Dortmund that he was good with. Like, they ain't got no
Mm,
beef. He sold him. They sold him to. They 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 he made them a bunch of money when they sold him
mm,
to Barcelona, who he destroyed last a few weeks ago. But for Dembele to get back to the Champions League final or to get to the first Champions League final, he's gonna have to go through his two old teams. Uh, I feel like the pressure is on PSG, no matter, even though this is a home game. I feel like Dortmund is just playing with like house money. Their fans are just excited that they're this far in this competition. So they should be the looser team. Now, how much more looseness this adds for them to go for it and win it? I've just been watching them play. They put up one hell of a fight against Leverkusen last week. I watched that game,
mm,
and they was ready to wreck that record. Like they were trying their damnedest, but
mm,
Leverkusen is just something else. But I I feel like Dortmund has this extra something about them this season in this contest. I don't know why, but it's palpable. That shit is there, and
mm.
it might be enough to beat PSG, but I won't know until after this series is over. So
Yeah.
we'll see. Real Madrid, Bayern. With this, if you want like a marquee game, uh, this is it. Like Real versus Bayern. Like who you feeling on this?
I mean, it's a tough one because I would say Real have obviously been blowing the league away this year, and they're top by 11 points or whatever, and Bayern have been struggling in the Bundesliga by their standards,
Mm-hmm.
to be so far off of where Leverkusen are. But I mean, they showed against Arsenal that the Champions League it brings something different out of them.
Mm-hmm.
They've got so many players who have been in this situation before. They got big game players.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Plus, they've got the sort of the exciting new talents of people like Musiala, he's still young, considering like it feels like he's been around for ages.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I mean, and obviously Kane's there now, so they got that added experience up top as well to go with the likes of Muller. So it's yeah, I mean, I don't know which way this is gonna go. I'm just gonna sit back and enjoy it.
Let
Just
me
two
tell you
teams
which
that
way it's gonna go. But go ahead, finish what you're saying.
as I say, two teams that have just got a nice blend of like experience, but also exciting younger players as well. Um, just two of the most successful teams in the competition. So it's a shame because I think this would have made a great final
Yeah,
if they had ended up together in the final. But yeah, we'll see how this one goes. If gun to the head, if I had to make a call, Real Madrid, but I
good
don't think there'll
call.
be much in it.
I feel like Bayern had the advantage versus Arsenal of experience in this competition, but they don't got that versus Real Madrid. Real
Yeah,
Madrid has pretty much won the league, and they have multiple X factors that are of prime age and some that are becoming like into their prime. I just feel like when that Real Madrid like front line of Vinicius, Rodrigo, with Jude Bellingham in it, like like put their chest in Eric Dyer's chest, there's no way Eric Dyer's chest is going to be able to withstand the pressure of just of those guys. You know what I mean? And there's
yeah,
other players that stepping up. I just think about Bayern's defense, which I think has been a problem for them. Like Upamecano is just like a nightmare. It's been such a nightmare that Eric Dyer is starting in his place. And if you think Eric Dyer, on some levels, he's a good defender, but not against those names that I just mentioned. There's no these guys. I've got to. This is why these guys are good because they can make an Eric Dyer look stupid. So
mm,
that's why And at Bayern's backline, I mean, Real Madrid's backline, it's the only thing with Real Madrid, they don't have their goalkeeper. But the
mm,
one that they have, he won a shootout, so he's got some confidence now. He won a shootout against the treble
yeah,
champions, and he's and it's tough being a Real Madrid anything, especially goalkeeper, and fans ain't gonna be happy if you make one mistake. But I think they're starting to learn like, all right, this guy could be something, which is perfect because Courtois only got a few more years when he does get back. So this
mm.
guy, if he and he ain't gonna want to go anywhere, he's gonna want to wait around for Courtois to be out and he's getting a taste of like what it's like. So yeah, I'd put my. This is easier for me to decide than whether my answer is right or not. It's easier for me to decide whether I just think Bayern's done. This cycle is done. It's this cycle is done. It's running on the fumes of what it was, and Real Madrid is here.
Mm.
So we'll see. Uh, what that fantasy league do? What's going
Oh,
on?
I've had some bad weeks in that as well. I've been having some Southampton form in that.
Oh shit!
But this week, I'm doing okay. I mean, Martin's gone way above me because he just had Foden in at the right time. Um, but Martin's only on 47 points this week, and I'm on 61. So I made the good decision to captain Isak for
Oh yeah,
Newcastle. So
he
he
went off
bagged me a
this week.
couple. He bagged me a couple of goals. I had Son in there, scored me a goal. I had Branthwaite, got me a clean sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've got some players that are going to play extra games because it's a double game week for some clubs.
Mm-hmm.
I messed up though having Gordon on the bench. Gordon's sitting on my bench with 10 points. He got a couple of assists for Newcastle. So yeah, I could have done with him in there. But yeah, Martin's doing well. He's up in seventh now. I'm down in 17th um, out of 35. So yeah, it's a mixed bag. But number one is he's been up there a lot this season, Joachim Henriksen. Um,
All right.
he's up there with Boca FC. He's number one, and Ahmad Zekri is in number two with Need Mo Salad.
So,
He's they've been the top two a lot this season. So yeah, they're pretty solid up there.
where do that
I
cat?
think. Oh, he's dropped. Joey Duda, he's down in ninth now.
Mm.
Um, he's been having some bad form. So um, yeah, it seems like this. Like I think Joachim Henriksen's got it sewn up. He's like 60 points or just like 50 something points ahead of second place. So he's got a nice cushion. So going into these last few games, see if he can hold on to that top spot. Let us know in the comments how confident you're feeling,
Yeah.
Joachim. Let's know. Are you confident of holding on to this top spot? Let me see who
You
he's
want to
got in his
start
team as
bragging
well.
now? You want to start getting Spurs? Oh, is this for real?
But he had Isak in this. He had captain Isak as well. So great minds think alike. But he had Gordon in his starting lineup, so he got the 10 points for him. He had Saka, who got 12 points, and he had Son as well. So yeah, his team have done well this week.
Yeah. All right, that sounds good. All right, Duda, disappointed in you, fam. Like, get it together. You got how many games left? 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Get it together. Yeah, and let's try to bring this home. The guys at the top of the table. The only thing I'm happy about Martin being 7th is at least one of the podcasters is like close to the top. Like you don't want it to be like disrespectful. Like we're not nowhere close. So I'll give him that.
Yeah.
If you couldn't do it, I gotta give Martin props for that. Like you want to be like, why are we listening to these guys' podcasts? It's can't even play fantasy league. Thank you all guys for playing and keep playing till the last kick of the ball. You got anything you want to plug or just talk about before you bounce?
No, just following on the socials, Lee Hudson Comedy. I'm going to be on a Kill Tony episode as well. It's going to air in a week. It won't be this Monday. It'll be next Monday. So keep an eye out for that. I think I'm towards the second half of the show, but watch the whole thing. So yeah, see how people react to that. See if I get any love in the comments. See if I get any hate in the comments on there.
I think you did something memorable, so
the set went well, and the set went well. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that.
And he pulled your name out the hat. There was no that's Lee. Let's get him on.
Yeah, they remembered me from 2019 on the London show, so that was nice. But yeah, it was good fun.
It's meant to be then. Fuck it. Let's go. Let's go kill Tony and check out Lee on it. And what I got, just follow me on the socials at Ian Edwards Comic on Twitter and on Instagram and on Threads. And yeah, man, thank you guys for rocking with us, for watching and for listening, on Omni Studio, iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you listen to us on, and like and subscribe on YouTube, and thanks for the comments and the conjectures and interjections on the in the comments on we'll take them all. I appreciate your love. You be good, be safe, and good luck to your teams unless they're playing ours. One. So